All right. Hello, everybody. Hi. It is Wednesday. It is the 15th of June, and it's time to create and play, of course, with Michael Stores and Faber-Castell USA. My name is Leibella Ralston, and I will be your class instructor for today. So I'd like to say hello and warm welcome to everyone, children from ages from 1 to 92. Hello, everybody. It's nice to see some familiar names popping up. I am broadcasting live from Northwest Arkansas. It's a beautiful day outside and it's summer. Oh my goodness. So that's why today we're going to create some fun summer popsicles. And we'll be using some of my favorite supplies from Faber-Castell USA. And that is something that I would like to talk about today. So if you don't have the list here, this is it. So we're going to use some watercolor pad. If you don't have a watercolor pad, a mixed media pad, or a journal, that's going to work. So we need some pencils, eraser, a watercolor brush, some water, of course. We're going to need maybe if you have a baby wipes or a paper towel or a kitchen rag, something that you can use. We're also going to be using the Faber-Castell, the Albrecht Durer Watercolor markers today. So we have the Cadmium yellow, 107, the dark chrome yellow, 109, beige red 132, middle purple pink 125, pale geranium lake 121, leaf green 112, and dark sepia 174. And also I'll be using some PITT artist pens. I have two out here with me. I have the 1.5 tip, and I also have a brush tip. So I can't decide yet which one I want to use of this two, but you can choose any tip of your that you would like. You can use the super fine, or you can use the medium or the fine, whatever tip that you have there at home. So I am going to try my hardest to look at the screen. So if we're going to leave, maybe if we can leave the chat section to some of your questions. If you have any questions as I, move along with the class, if I'm going a little too fast, also let me know so that I can slow down. And also, if you haven't checked out the PDF that Faber-Castell graciously provided everybody today, you can check that out. You can download. So we're going to start from the basic. We're going to do the doodling class from the beginning till the end. But if you have printed out the worksheet, you can just kind of wait along for us while we finish the doodle. Also with that printable, there's also some cute artwork included. You can print that at home and then you can fuzzy cut it. You can ask your parents do that for you. You can use it as a sticker or, anything fun like that for your creative projects. So, okay, is everyone ready? I'm going to try my hardest here. Hello. Hi, Patricia. Hello. Hi, Debbie. How are you guys? Oh, I'm super excited to see everyone here. Hello from Illinois. Hello, Kentucky. All right, so I'm going to switch over to our overhead and we are going to get this class started. So for this class, I also have some baby wipes here. I think I mentioned it earlier, but this is just to clean my brush as I go along, because you're going to see that later that, when we blend the colors in, sometimes we don't want a part of one color, so we need to clean our brush, in between switching the colors. So I have my water brush here. This one is from Faber-Castell. If you don't have this specific one, that's okay. You can also use a round brush like this. So I like to keep round brushes. When it comes to round brushes, I really like to keep like a number 2 and a number 4 up to number 6. Those are colors. Those are the number sizes that I like to have because they're so versatile. You can use it for a fine point, and then you can use the body of the brush to really spread your water in there. And then my pencil, and then I'll set aside the PITT artist pens because we're going to use this to add our kawaii faces. All right. So Gavin, hi, Gavin. Hello, everybody. Okie dokie. Here we go. So we're also going to be doing some lettering today. So I'm super excited. You guys know how much I love to do some brush lettering. That's one of my favorite things to do. All right, so now this is her screen. I'm going to do it in a landscape mode like this. This is a much bigger pad, and it's okay if you have a smaller one. That is totally fine. I just need a bigger one so you guys can see it. It will pop in the screen much better. All right, here we go. So first one, we're going to draw a pineapple, a popsicle. This one's going to be sweet and sour. That's going to be perfect, and it's going to be cute. And then the other one is we're going to draw a watermelon popsicle. So that's why we have those colors that I said earlier. We're going to be using some yellow, a darker shade of yellow, some light pink, some pinks and reds, and then of course green as well. Okay, so if everybody is ready, get your pencils on. Class is going to start. Right, so for the pineapple, we're going to make this pineapple because we don't want to create two triangle shapes, right? Because a pineapple, we can make it also like a triangle, but we don't want to make it a triangle. We're going to make it a round. So we're going to start with a semicircle. So semicircle, just like this, kind of like when you're drawing anything like a mountain, just a semicircle like that. Here it is. That's going to be the top of the pineapple popsicle. And also my drawing is leaning a little bit towards the left. If you want it straight, just like this, that's okay also, all right? But mine is kind of like leaning to the left, and then my watermelon popsicle will be leaning just slightly to the right. So I'm going to erase this one so we don't get confused. And I'm going to start here now in my pad. So I'm going to repeat the same. I'm going to do the semicircle again. Now, this is going to be the size of the popsicle itself. So you want to make sure you have the right size. If you feel like you created a little smaller, then you can erase it, adjust your drawings, and make it just slightly wider. Now that I have my semicircle, all I'm doing is I'm bringing them down to draw a straight line. Doesn't have to be super straight, just like that. And I'll repeat the same process. And I'll do this to the right side. All right. Yes, I will be doing them on the same page. You can do it in a separate one. That's fine also. And this one, I'm just going to close it in. But instead of drawing a straight line, I'm going to draw just a slightly curved line. Just like this, kind of like drawing a very, very wide smile. Just like that. Here we go. Because remember, when we're drawing anything kawaii, what we want is we want to avoid any harsh, sharp lines in here. So even if my corner like this, I actually want to adjust that and make it just slightly round. And so I'm going to adjust on this part as well. And just do it slightly round. So there's no sharp lines. Now for this one, I'm going to draw 2 popsicle sticks. So I want to start here to my left. I'm just going to draw a straight line like that. And then be mindful of the shape of your popsicle because you're going to make 2. So you want to make sure one is here and then one is here. So maybe like maybe ½ an inch in width. So that's one of my popsicle sticks. And then, of course, there's like a space in the middle. So they're going to have space apart here. So I'll start again with a straight line, bringing it down. And then I'll repeat the same process and I'll do it to the right. So we can add the other one here, right? Now this one, as I'm looking at this one is slightly wider. So it's okay. So I'm just going to erase it. And that's why when you're trying to do your initial sketch or your first sketch, try to go as light as possible because you know, you should anticipate that you'll be making some mistakes because it's okay. It's part of the process. And so that means we're going to erase a whole lot. And so what we're going to do here to connect it again and to close it in, we're going to repeat what we did to close our popsicle, kind of like drawing a smile, a curved line, and then meeting that other end to close it in. So I'll do this same here to my right, like that. There. Okay. And then this time, like maybe again 1/2 inch here, and we're gonna copy the same, this line over here, this curving line here. We're gonna repeat the same process. We're just gonna copy it, and we're gonna go to the other end, just like that. All right. Now, pause and look at your drawing right now and see what can you adjust. For me, I can see that this is slightly wide over here. Now I can adjust it and just kind of like fix my lines like that. And then erase the first one. And this is why it's always a good practice to start with, you know, pencil for your initial sketch, because that means you can still make adjustments. Because if we color this in already, or if we did the line art already with our PITT artist pens, that means we won't be able to erase them, because the PITT artists, once they're dry, they're going to be permanent. And so with the pencil and the eraser, we can make as many adjustments as we like. Right, so now we have our pineapple in here. Now I'm going to draw 2 cute faces. For the kawaii faces, we want the eyes to be as simple as possible. We're just going to create a dot. Really, it's a circle. And then I'm going to fill in the circle. And then another circle to the right. And then I'm going to fill in that circle. And then for the mouth, I'm going to make this one very, very happy. So I'll draw a straight line horizontally, just like that. Let me zoom in that in, like that. And then I'm going to draw the smile, just like that. And then from this corner, I'm going to bring it down, draw like a curving line. And then I'm going to fill this part right here. I'm going to shade this. Here we go. All right. Now we're going to put a, hold on. We're going to put a crown, because the pineapple always wears the crown. So for the crown, you can choose this. You can make it pointy if you'd like a traditional pineapple. But since I'm drawing like a kawaii pineapple and I want to keep my lines as simple as possible, so I'm going to make this one as simple as possible. I'm going to just remember that semicircle that we created. So this one, I just kind of like draw that scalloped or semicircle. 1, 2. Notice how one is like going up, and then this one goes wider. And then this one is going down again. So just down. Just like that. So I think I'm going to adjust this one. I'm going to go make it just slightly wider. Oops. I keep making a mess, don't I? It's okay. All these mistakes are part of the process. All right, let's erase it. There. Here we go. So now for the watermelon. Watermelon, this is going to be easy because we're just going to make a rectangle shape. But then again, we're going to make like a kawaii style drawing. So we're just going to try to avoid the sharp lines. So for example, we're going to make a triangle first. So this time I wanted to lean to the right, because my pineapple is leaning to the left. This one is like leaning to my right. So it's just a little bit of perspective in here. So I'm going to try to make a triangle first. I'm not going to try and overthink this one, just a triangle. And I'm going to leave this one little open to the corner. So instead of meeting into a point, I'm going to leave this one first. So there's a slight gap in between, bringing this down. Now you can make this one as wide or as thin as possible, as narrow. This one I'm going to make it slightly wider because it's always cuter when it's like that. So there, remember that gap over there, right? So for the gap, instead of the point, like what I said, I'm going to make like a semicircle again to close it in. Just look at this. Just like that. And then for this one, like what we did with the pineapple, I'm just drawing that slightly curving in those corners. And then I'm going to draw that wide curved line. There we go. Close it in, close it in. Now I'm going to do this one, repeat this one, copy that, just right above it. And that's where we're going to put the green part. Okay. Here we go. And then for this popsicle, I'm just going to do one popsicle sticks in here. So just my straight line. And then this one's going to be slightly wider just because there's one. There's going to be only one, so enough to hold my popsicle. And then again, another curved line going down. Oops. There we go. And then for my face here, I'm going to add like a very squinting, happy, kind of like super happy. So it's like an upside down U. Like that. So letter U also, I don't know if I'm going to fill this whole mouth. Fill it in. Just leave it just like that. And then I want to add lashes because it's going to be cuter. All right, you can skip the lashes if you don't want to. All right, I fill it in anyways. All right, so this is the perfect base for our coloring. Now we have that. We're not going to light it in or anything. Now the fun part is we get to erase it all. I'm just kidding. We're just going to light in the sketch, okay? Because once we apply the colors in here later, it's going to be almost close to impossible to erase some of our sketches. So I'm going to try and clean it as much as possible and just make it as light as possible so I can have the perfect guide. Okay, so I know I always say this, it's counterproductive because after doing the sketch, you erase everything. Like, what? Really? But we're not really thoroughly erasing it. We're just kind of really minimizing that appearance of the sketch because we still want to have that guide. That's our guide to color it in. All right. I know you can't see it, but they are there. Try to zoom it. They're still there, right? See? So it looks like it's not there, but it's going to be there. Okay. Now it's for the fun part. So for everyone that printed their PDF, this is where something that you can join us. Now, let me say this. If you printed your PDFs in just a regular copy paper, and then you're going to use a watercolor marker, your results are going to be different. So you should have printed your PDF in a mixed media paper at least, because then you can use some watercolor watercolor mediums, because regular copy papers, they're going to really drink all that water in. So what's going to happen is that you're just soaking this paper and it's just going to start tearing apart because this paper was not meant for water. So that's why it's important to use a watercolor pad or a mixed media pad. All right, so we're going to start with our pineapple first, and we're going to start with the light yellow. So for the light yellow, I want to apply it like half of my pineapple. So maybe actually 1/4 of my pineapple, let's say. So I'm just going to apply this light yellow here. And this is the Faber-Castell Albrecht Durer watercolor markers. These are watercolor pigments in a marker form. I love this one because it's not messy. You know, when I'm using like a regular watercolors, sometimes it's really, it gets messy. So this one is like, makes it much easier to use watercolor. It's also controlled. Here we go. Now I'm using the darker color one. This is a dark chrome yellow. And then I'm going to apply it over here. This goes on top of that little base part that we added because we're going to color that in with green later. So this is the dark chrome, just like that, right? So we have two colors. Now we're going to start blending them in. So I'm going to grab my water brush and I'm going to make sure my water brush is clean because sometimes I use them and then kind of like I thought I cleaned them thoroughly, but there's like blues and greens and it's like, then it's going to affect the color of your work and you're not going to be happy with that. So just make sure that it is, your brush is clean. So now I'm going to start blending this. So just because my water brush has water in it, so what's happening is that it spills out water in a controlled motion. And so that's why I love using a water brush because I know that there's water and it's dispersing water in a controlled manner. So we're not going to end up with like pool of waters, and that's always difficult. So when I blend that part in, I'm going to clean my brush, although they're both yellows, but I really want to get this pure concentrated pigments of the light yellow first and blend this part in. So I clean my brush and then I'm going to blend all these light yellows, the cadmium yellow that we applied. So I'm just going to go over them like that. Right? You want to skip the part where the mouth is because we're going to color that in with pink. Try as much hard as possible to not color it in. But if you did, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. We can just overlay the pink later. All right, so now let the colors, the two colors meet. This I'm going to clean my brush. And I'm just going to concentrate on this part right here where there's no color. I'm going to put the water in there. Like that. And if you have too much water, this is where that paper towel comes in. You can clean and dab. All right. And so now we're going to blend it again. The water will make the blend much smoother. Here we go. And then you can pick up some pigments as you go along because you're going to have a lot of colors in there. So I'm just cleaning up my brush. I'm moving my orange. One thing I love about watercolor is it can be, sometimes it's a little intimidating just because it's such a free flow type of medium. Sometimes it's hard to control, but I think the more you do it and the more you play around with this medium, you're going to find that it's forgiving, you know, because you kind of like, although you can't erase it, your eraser is going to be the water. So when you have a wet brush and you still have the paint still wet, you can pick up, there you go, pick up the pigments, move around the pigments, so you can manipulate it while it's still wet. And the good thing about the watercolor is that it's always going to react with water. Now that's going to depend on the type of materials that you're using. Some, really artist quality materials are going to allow you to do that. You're always going to activate the pigments and you'll be able to manipulate it around. But some pigments will stain your paper. And what it does is that the pigment sticks on the paper and it's much, much, much harder to move around those colors once you applied them already. Here we go. So you just blended it together just like that. And see, I have a little spill over here. It's kind of like that yellow is like spilling over. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my water brush in here and wet this part right here and then clean the pigment. So I'm picking up the colors and then cleaning that side. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect, just like that. Okay. So now that we have our yellow and orange in there, now we're going to go to the green. So for our leaf green, and we're just going to apply it at the bottom. So I'm just going to trying to stay within the lines, but if you go a little bit outside the line, it's okay. So as you can see, I'm coloring it in horizontal way because I want to leave a white negative space slightly to the right side. We're creating a natural highlight in there. All right. Hi, Suzanne. I don't know how slower I can go. I'm really going as slow as I can. Okay, so here we go. Now that we have applied that, we're going to go start blending it in. So I'm just using my water brush again and moving the pigments. I'm going to stop right there. And since it's just the same color, I am going to go, I don't have to wash my brush and just start blending this part here. All right, so for this negative white part, I'm going to clean my brush and I'm going to dab the excess water because I don't want too much water in there. And I'll concentrate again in this negative space and I'll just go, look at this, go like a back and forth motion, horizontal. There. Just like that. Back and forth, back and forth. And then clean your brush. Just like that. Now, sometimes what we want is we don't really want we don't want any sharp lines. If that's the case, you can always add more water in here and let the orange and the green meet if you don't want this harsh lines. So just go over. I didn't do anything with my water brush. Again, there's like a continuous water flow in the water brush. So my tip or the brush tip will always be slightly moistured, so there's moisture in here, so it's a little wet. So I'm just using that brush, that water that's flowing in the brush, and I'm just moving the green pigment in here. And I'm just moving things slowly. I'm not going, so just using the tip of my brush, I'm just using it to move the colors around. like that. And then this time I'm going to clean my brush. So I'm just cleaning it. And then I'm going to dab the excess water again because we don't want too much water in here, right? And I'm going to go here on top. If you can't move your paper, if you can move your paper, then you don't have to struggle like this. But my desk is small and I want everything to be, I want the camera to get this angle. So I'm just moving this. But what I'm doing is I'm just cleaning up those green that we moved around. And I wanted to have a clean and smooth gradient meeting with the orange. And I'm just cleaning my brush. And then just move things around in here again. Just like that, cleaning my brush again. And then go smooth and all that. Okay. Now, the Faber-Castell, the Albrecht Durer markers, it is dual-sided. So you have a brush on the other end, and then on the other hand, you have a, I think this is a 2.5. If I'm mistaken, Miss Jen, is it a 2.5 or a 2.0? But is a bullet tip on the other end. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this side to create the lines in the watermelon. And all it is we're just adding diagonal lines like this. All right, now for the diagonal lines, one of my techniques and one of my style is that I don't like it like one straight line. I kind of like breaking it in. So I'm going to do a, like, hold on, so you guys can see closer. Here we go. So my lines are going to be like this. So dash, dash, stop, and then line down again. See that? So here again, one straight line and then stop, and then I'll add just a slight gap in there. Since this is still wet and we're applying watercolors basically on top of it, you're not going to see any sharp lines, and that's what I wanted. I don't want any sharp lines, so my lines are just broken lines like that. And we're going to do this while our page is still wet because we don't want those super crazy harsh lines in there. But if your paper is maybe slightly dried up already, we can always come back in and use our water brush to start blending in the lines. So I'm just using broken lines, just like that. Here we go. And then I'll go across the lines that we created. So I'm just going to start here on top and just add the broken lines. Just like that. So I'm just using the tip of the brush and just going really light on my pressure. So don't apply too much pressure. So go as light as possible. Just like this. So obviously the top part is more dry than the bottom part here. So it just gives it a little bit different effect, and both look so good to me. I don't think I'm going to change anything in here. I'm just going to leave it just the way it is. Now for the top part of our pineapple, we're going to color that green. And this time we're not going to do anything super crazy fancy. We're just going to color in with green, and we're going to use the water brush to blend it in again. So I'm going to concentrate my color on top so that we can have a smooth blend, the yellow and the green that will meet later. So I'm just going to concentrate following that line we created earlier, just like that. And I'm going to fill in and shade some parts in. Here we go. And then now I'm going to use our water brush. Make sure that the water brush is clean. So I'm just going to clean it again. And then dab the excess water again. All right, then we'll just start blending. So you want to move in all those pigments. So you want to activate it. The water is going to activate that pigments. And then you move them because they are going to follow the movement of your water. There we go. And now I'm going to clean my brush. Just clean it. And then I'm going over the yellow part. I'm moving that green with the yellow. So the yellow and green will meet just like that. So we'll have that smooth gradient. Here we go. All right, now we're going to do our watermelon. We're going to leave this one. We're going to wait for it to dry first. Okay, and let's do the watermelon while we're waiting for this to dry before we do anything with the kawaii face. All right, so for our watermelon, I will be using the middle purple pink and the pale geranium lake. Now remember, we have the light yellow and then the dark yellow in here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use the pink on top, and then we're going to use the red at the bottom. So I'll start with the pink. I'll apply this pink part. I'm using the brush side of this marker so I can cover a larger space. Like that. And then I will apply the red. And then I'm going to do this first so I don't have to be super careful. Can have my guide just like that. And then I'll go up. Just like that. Okay. Now we're going to go blend everything in. I'll start with the pink. Notice how I will start on the top. And then I'm just wetting everything because you want to activate all these pigments right here. Right, so I'm just going over all the areas where we applied the marker. All right. So I'm going to clean my brush because I don't want too much of those pigments. So we're going to add some water to that. Look at this. Water, water, right? Water, water. So now it's like soaking in water. Right? And this time it's okay to get the mouth side because it's going to be pink anyways. Just like that. Yeah, we're going to do this stick in a little bit. And then now I am going to clean my brush and I'm going to start activating all these pigments in the pale geranium lake. Same process. I'm just going over to all the areas where I apply the marker. Just like that. Cleaning my brush, picking up more water. Just like this. All right. Now we have that negative space again. I'm going to clean my brush again, pick up more water. Right. And then start blending two together. Just like this. Just like that. And it's okay if you kind of like move around the red, if you want more red, you know. And what I want is I want this side right here, the top side, to be really light, not too much pink. So I'm cleaning my brush and I'm going to use, remember what I said, the water will be your eraser while it's still wet. So I'm just going over that side, picking it up, kind of like there. I'm pulling out the pigments in there. So pulling it up, cleaning it, dabbing it in my paper towel or the baby wipes, just like that. Because I want to create this highlight right here. where it's going to be the lightest area of my drawing. There we go. I'm okay with that. Here we go. And so this time we're going to color this part right here green as well. Okay, and so I'll repeat the same process. Just color everything in. This time, nothing fancy, we'll just color it in. Use my clean brush, move the pigments around. Just like that. Picking up some of those pigments if there's like too much color. Clean it up. All right. And notice here, so there's a bleeding happening here. So the red and the green over here, the colors are meeting, right? So as you can see, the green is bleeding onto the red side because this red part right here was still very, very wet. And again, the pigments are going to follow the flow, the movement of your water. So since this part right here is still very, very wet, all the green are going to go up. And I think that's the beautiful part of the watercolor is because it is inconsistent. It is so surprising. You know, it gives you different results each time. And I actually love that part right there where there's like, you know, colors bleeding through one another. And it's just, I think it's just very special here. I don't know why my colors are super crazy. Like that. There. I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm not going to do anything. So while this is still drying, we're going to work on the sticks, the popsicle sticks. Oops. So I'm going to zoom out. Here we go. I'm going to start with a beige red. I want something really light first. So we're going to go in the inner part of this popsicle sticks, just like that. And here, the right side. So basically the right side of your popsicle sticks. We're going to apply the light brown. This one is a beige red, just like that. And then we're going to apply the darker brown over here. So this one, I'm just going to use a little bit of this dark brown because I know that this is rich in pigment. And so I don't want it to overpower the light brown as well. But with watercolors that we can keep adding more if we want more saturation. It's much easier to add than to take out. So I'm going to zoom it in so you can see. I'm going to clean my brush, make sure that it's really, really clean. We don't want any red in there, but it's okay. So I'll start with my dark brown, just like that. Right? And so clean it up because I don't want any more of those pigments because I will have enough in here. Just like that. I'll clean up again and do this. I'll pick up more water and then I'll start blending that lighter brown now. I'll just fill in this area, let the two colors meet. I go back and forth and horizontal. Sometimes I go upside. that. Cleaning my brush. And then going over this right side and repeating the same motion. Just kind of go back, swish, 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 back and forth, back and forth. Like that. Oops. I think I went over my line. It's okay. Then I'll just stretch this one right here too, to fix the boo-boo that I did. Do this. I was just going to add some height to this one so I can balance it to my right popsicle stick. All right, and we have that. Then I'll do the same process and do the popsicle sticks for a watermelon. So I'll start with the light brown. I'm using the brush tip, that one. And then right here. Then I'll add my dark. Clean my brush. Sometimes there's like water, too much water, so always have your paper towel ready or your baby wipes or your rag so you can dab and clean. Here we go. Clean my brush, dab the excess water. I'm moving my dark brown here at the bottom. Just like that. All right, now let's see if they're dry. They still might not be dry because once we apply marker on top of this, it will bleed. So make sure to wait for yours to completely dry. I have a heat tool in here. So I'm just going to go over them because just like that. Go over that. Just try not to warp my page because when you put in too much heat in here, your paper will start to warp like that. So here we go. I think mine is thoroughly dry now. If yours is not, you should wait a little bit. Now I am going to use my 1.5. This is the bullet nib of the PITT Artist Pen in black. And I'm going to start drawing my kawaii face in here. Start my dot. Make 2 kawaii eyes. Just like that. And then I'll let that dry. And I'll do my watermelon's face. Now, Father's Day is coming up, and you can use some of these cute drawings to create a card. You're one in a melon for dad, or you're so sweet. So something fun. So these are great for your like DIY projects. Now I'm going to use the pink color, the middle purple pink, and use the bullet nib side of it to color in the mouth of my pineapple. And I'm also going to add some pink blush so it's cuter. So we're going to add here. that. And so this is just like an oval shape, just like that. And then I'll repeat the same process and I'll do the same thing to my watermelon here. Maybe make this dot just a circle instead of an oval. There we go. Now you can also choose to use your dark brown to add some seeds to your watermelon. So I think that's going to be cute. Just add like small dots in here. So I'll start with one on top. So I'll just make sure that they're spread out. Just like that. So now we're just adding some finishing touches. Just like that. Oh, here we go. Isn't that fun? That's a sample, and this is what we created today. Now for some quick lettering. So we have just a few minutes left. For some quick lettering, I'm going to use the dark chrome yellow. So I'm going to draw a heart first. Use the same pink one. Maybe use the red because it's cuter. So the pale geranium lake. And I'm just going to add in the middle. Just like that. Now, I love using the bullet nib side of the Albrecht Durer when it comes to much more controlled drawings and doodles, just because it's easier to control it than using the brush tip. It's much better that way. And then when I'm doing any type of brush lettering, then I do use the brush side. And so I'm just going to swoosh it to there. And I'm going to add summer over here. So this time I'm doing a brush lettering. If you'd like to learn some brush lettering, you can check out some of our previous classes with Michael's. They're available on Michael's YouTube channel. So this one I'm going to make my summer. We have a variety of classes available that you can check out, and I think you'll love them. And I'm just going to add some pink at the bottom. So I can quickly show you how you can do the blending for the lettering also. I won't be able to finish all of them in camera, but this is how I would blend my lettering like that. Now I use a much smaller brush when it comes to the letters, just because they're much smaller space. So using a finer brush helps me a lot to have more control when moving around the water and the pigments. Just like that. All right, and then for the word fun, I'm just going to choose the red, and we're going to do it in print style. Letter F. Just like that. And add an apostrophe. Let's do a thicker one. Just like that. And then I'm going to use the same orange or the yellow. Maybe we'll use the cadmium yellow here. And I'm just going to make like drips from the pineapple, kind of like, you know, how it's like they're melting. So this is just like adding a teardrop shape for the water, for the popsicle melts. So just like a teardrop. And then I'm going to use the same pink one over here. So add a teardrop shape like this, just like that. And then fill in. Repeat the same process. Just like that. They are so adorable. Oh my goodness, they're so cute. There's our summer fun. All right, so before I leave, please do show some love and follow Faber-Castell USA on social media. It's on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever social channels you have. And also do show some love to Michael's. Make sure if you created something with us today, make sure to tag them at Michael's Stores and he used the hashtag #MakeItWithMichaels. All right. So this is super fun. You've learned how to doodle from the beginning till the end, and we learned how to use the Albrecht Durer watercolor markers, created some beautiful blending. I thought that was super, super fun. Would like to invite everybody. Next week's class, we're going to be painting some, what is this? This is going to be some sweet cotton candy. And next week, we're going to be using some gelatos as well. So this is going to be fun because we're going to do some different techniques. So make sure to please do sign up for the next class. That will be on June 22nd. And same time at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. So thank you so much, everybody. Oh, everything is falling on my desk. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in today. I hope that class was helpful. If you are catching this on YouTube, make sure to catch us live next time and join us in the class. But would like to thank everyone for being here with us today. Thank you for creating and playing with me. Again, my name is Leibella Ralston. In behalf of Faber-Castell USA, would like to thank you all. Be well, stay creative, and stay happy. Until next time, we'll see you again. Bye, everyone.